The driver's expression changed when he heard about the destination, as if there was something strange about it, but Preseppe looked away before the man dared to ask her. The carriage started running incessantly, and Presepe was unconsciously fiddling with her hands over her dress, feeling the fabric now and then catching it. You don't know how much time passed, but the car stopped slowly after a short distance. Only then did Precipe raise her head, which had been lowered all the way down. "We have arrived, Madame Precipe." As soon as the driver's words ended, Presepe quickly jumped out of the car. "Do you want me to stay here waiting for you?" the driver asked, observing her confused features, but Presepe shook her head. "The road to the Imperial Palace is not far, I can return on my own." But the truth is that she wished there would be no return at all. "Maybe that's why I rejected the driver's kindness and his insistence on waiting." "Thank you," he said quietly, then turned his gaze forward. The place I went to was Market. The place full of her memories with Fenric, and the place where she met him for the first time. The faint rays of the moon shone over her violet eyes, and she stopped for a moment, contemplating them absently, then dragged her feet forward with heavy steps. If someone asked her, "Why did you come here?" "When I found an answer to provide." But as soon as her eyes fell on the empty land, she felt completely lost. It's like she lost her home. That was the only home in this world that was safe for her, inhabited with tranquility and tenderness. Deep down, she knew, even if Fenric's palace remained standing, without its owner, it had no value. However, she longed to find any trace that he had really existed. Only one piece of evidence confirms that the times they spent together were not an illusion. She wanted to believe that, if he was patient and waited, then as Fenric had once promised him, he would definitely return to her side. Where did Duke Fenric go? Could it be that he just didn't appear in front of her? And that, as at the beginning of the journey, he is still just a side character stuck in the game's threads? If so, won't you meet him again here? Thus, Presepe held on to a fragile hope, like a glass threatening to shatter in her hands, and continued to stumble in her steps as she searched the market endlessly. People were passing around her without stopping. Everyone is busy with his ordinary day, with his small life, with buying and selling, with asking and doing good. They are all immersed in their concerns, not caring about anything else. Some of them, when their eyes fell on Presepe, looked at her with astonishment, eyeing her clothes or remembering the rumors associated with his name with Dietrich. But those looks left no trace in her heart. No sensation, not even discomfort. She kept walking, repeatedly bringing back in her mind the memories of the festival she had attended with Fenric, moving between the places where they had stood together. But, really, don't you want to change your wish? I feel like I'm the only one who has had everything. Did I not tell you repeatedly? This is my wish. It alone is sufficient for me, but it overflows from me. The first place he went to was the altar. Her day was filled with flowers. There, she prayed from his heart, "Help me never forget myself." But this day was not a festival day. The altar seemed empty, with no flowers or ornaments, nothing but scattered dust and dry grasses swept away by the wind. Then suddenly, she quickly turned around, before slowly bending down. What her hands picked up was a small wildflower that grew at the foot of the altar. She placed it on the altar, then closed her eyes with all her might, pouring out her heart in supplication. I wish I could see him again. May this not be the end. When she raised her head after praying, the light of the round moon reflected above her violet eyes. She looked at him for a long time, then continued her steps again. She also went to that hill, where Fenric had calmed her down the day he was frightened by the sound of fireworks. As with the altar, the hill was also empty. No one was there, not a single sound could reach his ears. Fenric. She whispered his name very carefully, as if she was afraid that the name would break on her lips. But her voice faded with the wind that passed lightly, without an answer, without a return. However, she remained sitting alone on the hill, waiting. But Fenric did not return. Her feet walked weakly, dragging on the ground. She stumbled many times, and repeatedly rejected a hand extended to her with compassion. There is only one place left. Are you okay? That place. May I help you? The alley where she first met Fenric. The narrow entrance seemed to him like the mouth of a monster open wide. And maybe that was true. At the end of that deserted alley, he will only find the bitter truth: Fenric is gone. She must live in despair. Fenric. However, she called him again. With a hoarse, cracked voice, without luster, flowing weakly. Fenric. But even when it came to an end, nothing changed. She's still alone. She sat collapsed on the dirty floor where the trash was rolling, her face expressionless, like a broken face. She didn't move for long. Rather, her tears, which she had been holding tightly, began to fall drop by drop, soaking the dirt. You said you would come back. You said you would find me. So why? Why? Her thin shoulders trembled helplessly. She tried hard to suppress her sobs, but she couldn't. When she woke up, her voice had already risen with tears. Not when she was living as Yoon Ju-yeon in reality. Not when Presepe became stuck in a game. She had never cried like this once before. Come back. But the crying, when he broke out, never seemed to stop. She cried bitterly, as if she had decided to die crying. You said you would protect me, all the time, everywhere. I wanted you to stop worrying. To stop trembling in fear. To end your suffering. I have suffered enough. I've been tortured enough. But I am still very afraid, and I am still in pain. If Fenric had been here, the sound of her crying would have been enough to make him run to her. He shouts angrily, asking what's wrong. This is how it has always been. Maybe that's why she kept fighting back tears the whole time. Because if she surrendered and called him with all her might and he did not come, she has no choice but to admit that Fenric is gone forever. I love you. If I had known that I would never see him again, I would not have held back my feelings. If I had known that moment was the last, I would have told him. I love you, too. Really, I am. I don't want anyone else, nor another world, nor anything else. It is enough for me that you are. Even if I came back again, to repeat this madness 1,000 times, I would ask for your love while being. Even if values return to normal, and everything goes back to the beginning, even if he had to be crushed by the male characters hundreds of times, even if he had to die slowly and suffer repeatedly. She is willing to do all of this, if only it meant she would meet Fenric again. Finally, Presepe realized the weight of honesty that Fenric was pouring into his words. But, what's the point now? It no longer exists at all. His hands tightened on the dirt, his white fingers were trembling, and his groans rose from his abundant tears. You said you would find me, no matter the cost. Anytime, anywhere. And at that very moment. But, how can you let yourself cry like this? His low voice trembled, and with it a dark shadow fell over Presepe's face.